My name is Brian Tague, and I'm the president of the board of the Woburn Community Educational Foundation. The Woburn Hall of Fame is a collaboration between WCEF and Woburn Memorial High School, formed to honor and recognize those individuals whose integrity, achievements, sportsmanship, and character have enhanced the overall educational experience of our youth and inspired pride in our schools and community. All proceeds from the Woburn Hall of Fame supports projects for today's students in the Woburn Public Schools. The Woburn Hall of Fame event is a fundraiser with a goal to generate revenues that will help pay for new and innovative academic and athletic programs at the high school and at every school in the Woburn Public School system. To make it easy for you to support the financial success of the Woburn Hall of Fame, we've conveniently placed envelopes in the programs at each table. Please take one with you this evening, and please consider making a gift to honor tonight's esteemed inductees. Well, thank you for your support. I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of Woburn Mayor Michael Concannon, here to support the Hall of Fame and celebrate the achievements of his father-in-law, who is among the honorees this evening. Mayor Concannon, thank you for being here. Now, before I hand the mic over to tonight's MC, I do want to take a moment to recognize the true engine behind tonight's event, and that is WCEF Executive Director, Maureen Willis. Maureen, your continued efforts have helped to make the Woburn Hall of Fame a true community celebration. For over a decade, Woburn schools have enjoyed hundreds of thousands of dollars via education grants, thanks to the many initiatives that you have set forth. After 10 years at the helm of WCEF, Maureen will be leaving us in her current capacity as ED, as she embarks on a new and hopefully more leisurely chapter of her life. Our job is to now continue the mission built on the foundation that you have laid over the past 10 years. Maureen, you are the true embodiment of Tanner pride. And our city and our schools are better because of your work. Now, if I may, can we please take a moment to give a round of applause for Maureen Willis. If everyone could please stand for a moment.
The achievements and contributions of this evening's inductees as athletes, teammates, coaches, mentors, and ambassadors for our schools and our city made them heroes in Woburn and beyond. Heroes not only because of what they did, but because of how they made us feel. So let's kick things off with a round of applause for tonight's inductees. Established to recognize those individuals whose integrity, achievements, sportsmanship, and character have enhanced the overall educational experience of our youth and inspired pride in our community. It is a celebration of our shared history, and an institution will stand in tribute to the contributions of the inductees. Now it's time to call forward this year's class of inductees into the Woburn Hall of Fame. In preparation for this evening's events, inductees, their families, and teammates were invited to participate in an interview, which has been produced into a video by Woburn Public Media. As the inductees are announced, their interview will be broadcast on the big screen. Inductees, we ask that you watch your video segment from your seat and then come forward to receive your commemorative plaque. We ask that you then proceed to the doors at the front of the ballroom to my right for pictures. It is only proper that we begin this part of the program by acknowledging the support of tonight's presenting sponsor, New Horizons at Children, a non-profit assisted living facility here in Woburn managed by Cummings Properties. We are proud and grateful for the leadership support of this important community resource. Contributions to society, so as to serve as a source of pride to our schools and the greater Woburn community. James F. Brennan, class of 1929, was a much-loved and admired educator, coach, and director of athletics, whose dedication to Woburn youth spanned for generations. Mr. Brennan began his career as a teacher at Woburn High in 1936. He went on to serve as head football coach, athletic director, and the director of the Woburn Summer Recreation Program. He was a charter member and one of the founding organizers of the Woburn High Scholarship Association. Mr. Brennan was appointed assistant principal at Woburn High in 1957, and he served in this role until his retirement in 1975. While his family could not be here with us this evening, his daughter Denise was able to share her thoughts on this honor for her father by video. We are proud to induct James F. Brennan as a distinguished alumni into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
He felt that he should give back because he received so much from the community. And of course, my mother was very active in politics in the city, so that was kind of there too. She was spurring him on. You know, he didn't come from wealth. He came from a relatively poor working class neighborhood. He had a teacher that took a special interest in him and made a huge difference in his life. Sweeney.
Okay.
And she was I think she was actually a middle school teacher. And she became a friend of my parents. I think he was surprised at what he became and was very proud that he became the assistant principal. I think he was very proud of the students that he took an interest in and kind of pushed forward into college. Now, he was also a very talented football player. That's what got him where he was. And he was proud of that. But he was more proud of what he did at Woburn High. He was a referee, a college referee. He did coaching, and all of his education was paid for by football scholarships. Well, I think he would have thanked Marty Feeney for pushing him over the edge. She was pretty pushy. And I think he'd thank my mother because she really gave him the impetus to keep going. He was very, very proud of my sister and myself. And he felt like that was an accomplishment. And also, he was a football player, but he and my mother were both PE teachers to start with. And she was a great tennis player, and he became a really good tennis player, taught us, and as a family, we would, those tennis courts up on the side there that are named after him? We were the ones who were using them more than anybody else.
The next inductee in this category is James J. Foley, class of 1952. Jim Foley was a true blue Woburnite. He found personal and professional success and fulfillment in the city he loved so much. As an educator at Woburn High School, he advanced from the classroom to administration, becoming one of the first headmasters at Woburn High School, and ultimately principal in 1981, a position he held for 13 years. Jim dedicated his profession and to the success of Woburn High, and was well respected by teachers and students alike. His love of Woburn inspired the same in his students, and this undoubtedly inspired many of the Woburn leaders today. We are pleased to have his family here with us this evening as we induct James J. Foley as a distinguished alumnus into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
Looking back, what accomplishments do you think Jim would be most proud of?
I would say his family.
That's exactly what we all said. Exactly. He was so proud of every one of us going on
Yeah.
to school. He was proud of her getting us everywhere we needed to go. And then as our families grew and our children came along, he continued to be the grandfather at every sport. He just was so proud of his family, his brothers and sisters.
I came down from the virginal settlers of Woburn, and I think that history kind of, it wasn't his history, it was my history, but he appreciated it. Families give back, or people give back, and that instills it into the next generation, and then they will give back. I think that was an important thing for him.
He was a founding member of the Friends of the Woburn Public Library.
Yeah.
And he really enjoyed that.
did.
That was after
He
he
did.
was retired, and
Yeah.
he enjoyed being part of that whole process. He definitely thought education was just so important, and it carried through to every part of someone's life. He started out as a history teacher
Yeah.
in Woburn, and then he was the housemaster. And kids would continue to send him letters after he retired.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Foley. He would see them later in life and always know their name and remember stories about them. Woburn was where it all happened for
It
him.
was.
You
And
know,
school was his life.
Yeah.
It really was.
He
Whether it was
a-
Boston College, and then coming here to teach at the high school.
coached basketball,
Yeah.
refed football, so he just was always involved in what was going around at the school. And he held a firm
Oh, yes.
foot here, like there were no hats in school.
Right. There were
Mr. Foley was
rules.
out in the hall, I don't think he ever left the city other than to go
no.
to the beach.
No, I know.
They
And
had
that
a
was
house-
only by
They had a house in
protest.
Gloucester and Rockport, and it took a lot to get him to go
It
down
did.
there. Loved
Yeah.
to go down to
Moore
Moore
and
Parker and
Parker's,
see
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And
Is there anyone you think Jim would want to thank for his accomplishments and successes?
I would say the people that are actually being inducted into the Hall of Fame with him, he would never go looking for this.
No.
He would never. He was
No.
such a humble man. But he would have pushed them to be in it.
Right.
And for him to be included amongst them would make him feel so proud.
The final inductee in this category is James L. McKeown, class of 1973. Jamie McKeown was a family man and community leader. After a short stint as a classroom teacher, Jamie joined Cummings Property in 1979, rising to become its second ever president before the age of 35. He also held many leadership roles in the community, including treasurer of the Woburn Industrial Finance Authority and president of the Woburn Business Association, now known as the Woburn Chamber of Commerce. A former Boy of the Year at the Woburn Boys Club, he went on to become the first alumnus elected director and its youngest ever president. Jamie led by example and had an unwavering commitment to doing the right thing. His death at a young age was a loss to his family and to the community. We are proud to have his daughters here with us this evening, as well as several friends, colleagues, and admirers, as we induct James L. McKeown as a distinguished alumnus in the Woburn Hall.
Well, Jamie, growing up in Woburn, he took advantage of every activity that was offered to him. He, played Little League baseball and all the other sports. And when the Boys and Girls Club opened, he came down there and kind of made that his home.
As a young boy, he went to the Boys and Girls Club every day after school, and there was someone there named Charlie Gardner, who was very special in Jamie's life. Jamie looked up to him as a mentor and as a father figure. Just watching Charlie and his actions and what he did for the community and what he did for the kids just really shaped Jamie into the adult that he became.
Jamie was very concerned, from the first time I knew him, about integrity. And one of the things he used to talk about, he hired a lot of people in the company today, but his thinking was that integrity is something that you don't have most of the time, or some of the time, or almost all of the time, but at every moment.
Jamie was a kid, and he was just learning what to do with the club and all. But it didn't take long. People figured out that Jamie had something special, and you wanted him on your team, or you wanted to be on his team. And if something was going on at the club, you'd say, well, what did Jamie think of that? He just had that influence. And it wasn't something that he tried for. It just came natural to him.
What accomplishments do you think Jamie would be most proud of?
Being a father and a husband, I know was so incredibly important to him, and he was really good at it.
Well, as a mother, I'm going to say his children. But I think that the money that he raised for the Boys and Girls Club when they had that major campaign, and that allowed the club to build a new facility, I know that was really special to him.
He was very humble. I think he'd be certainly honored and appreciative, but didn't really like the limelight, to be focused on, but certainly would be honored and appreciate it, and he would keep that with him. He'd keep that close to him.
Yeah.
He was a person who could be a role model for anyone, including myself.
Jamie was very humble, and I think what he would love is that he's being remembered not for his accomplishments, but for what he did for the community, and his kindness and his caring and his empathy. I think that would be really important and special to him.
Billie taught mathematics for 34 years at the Kennedy Junior High School, now Kennedy Middle School. His application was as a faculty member for both junior high schools and eventually Woburn Memorial High School. He was also involved in the Woburn High football program, whether it was distributing equipment, encouraging students at an athletic event, providing a ride to or from a game or practice, or helping them with their studies. Billie never let a teaching moment go unfilled. In his free time, Billie was also a devoted volunteer at the Woburn Boys and Girls Club and with the Woburn Little League. Billie was a generous man, and we are proud to honor his contributions to Woburn athletics. His family is here this evening to join us in celebrating the induction of William McNeil Jr. into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
So Paul, what is it about Woburn that you think made Bill want to get involved and give back to the community?
I think Billie was brought up in a house where his parents were always giving back. So I think he was just raised that way, that he was taught to give back. Billie was, didn't have a lot of ego, so I don't think that he would expound upon anything specific that he was proud of. I know he took a lot of pride when teams were doing well, the kids were doing well. Whenever they had a championship team, Billie was like all over it. I mean, on a personal level, I think it's just the way he took care of his parents. And they were proud of him because he did so much for the community, that he was always involved, always active with the kids and the coaches. He, you know, he was just a good guy. He really was.
Yep.
I think Billie was all things Woburn, so anything having to do with Woburn sports that he was involved in or not involved in, he was just, you know, the consummate Woburn guy when it came to the kids and, you know, the coaches and, you know, the organizations. I think Tanner Pride just to him meant Woburn, and he was all Woburn.
I know you mentioned that he was kind of humble, but how do you think he would feel about being inducted into this Woburn Hall of Fame?
Oh, this would make his day.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything that he actually contemplated when he was alive, and the fact that he is in it would just, you know, he'd be over the top about it. He'd be very proud of him, you know, of it. He had quite the sense of humor. He loved practical jokes. And again, that's part of whether he was pulling the practical jokes or they being pulled on him. He never got aggravated or upset over a practical joke because he was usually pulling it. But again, there was no ego. And I think that's probably the greatest testament I can give for him.
An advocate for girls in sports, he launched the girls' ice hockey and soccer programs. It was his vision that converted the Woburn High football field into an all-sports playing field and led to the installation of lights in the field. Under his leadership, the school won countless league, sectional, and divisional championships. He was duly honored with many awards, including District B Athletic Director of the Year and the John E. Young Distinguished Service Award. The City of Woburn owes a debt of gratitude to Richard Qualey for his many contributions as an educator, coach, athletic director, community leader. Rich, thank you and congratulations on your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
What accomplishments are you most proud of?
Converting the football field to a game field so that the girls' soccer, boys' soccer, field hockey get on play on a legitimate sized field and then having lights installed, watching the girls' soccer team play a night game. I was one of the teams that I started, girls' soccer at Woburn. And it was always a joy to see the kids enjoying playing the night games, and the parents had a chance to get to the games, grandparents get to the games.
Is there anyone that you'd like to thank?
Oh, my wife, she stood by me in all the good and bad times. And the people that I worked with, I owe a lot of gratitude because they did an outstanding job. It made me look good. Walter White was my head football coach when I was in high school. And he did a lot for Woburn High School athletics. He was the first athletic director. And so I was always the second best athletic director because I was the second one there. Now I'm the third because Jimmy's taken over.
Right. What does Tanner Pride mean to you? I think it was coined by Peter Sullivan.
Peter Sullivan, yeah. Tanner Pride is that you show respect for your opponent, yourself. Respect is an important thing. And, you know, without it, Tanner Pride meant that we were going to work hard until the end. And we're always going to represent the city and the school in a positive manner. It was quite an honor to be in a Hall of Fame. And I congratulate the people that worked so hard to get it started. And it's a lot of hard work, and people on the committee should be proud of what they've done. I'm just thankful that I was chosen. It'll be a highlight of my life.
The induction of individual athletes into the Woburn Hall of Fame. These individuals were all scholastic student athletes who graduated from Woburn Memorial High School and made significant contributions to the school. They were selected for induction from the pool of nominated candidates based on their playing ability as well as their leadership, character, integrity, and sportsmanship. Valerie Beckwith Thayer was a three-sport athlete at Woburn High. On the basketball court, she scored more than 1,000 points in her career. She was voted team MVP, named to the Massachusetts All-Academic First Team, and was a 3-time Middlesex League All-Star. In swimming, she was a League All-Star and team captain, and held the school record for the 100-yard breaststroke. She was captain of the Woburn High softball team, Middlesex League All-Star, and was recognized as Defensive Player of the Year. In 2005, she was named Woburn's Female Athlete of the Year. At Woburn High, Valerie was ranked number 3 in her class and volunteered her time in the community. As a scholar athlete, exciting player, and team leader, Valerie embodied everything that is Tanner Pride. Valerie, congratulations on your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
If I had to kind of sum up Tanner Pride, I think I'd use a few characteristics. I'd probably use community, camaraderie, determination, and grit. The other thing that I think about with Tanner Pride is it seems to be very generational. So everyone always has pride when they're a part of a team. But what I see is people coming back to either coach or be a spectator in big games, which I find super unique, right? You go back and there's so many familiar faces. So the pride kind of lasts a lifetime, it seems like. I know one of my coaches one time said it's not really the wins and losses you'd remember, but the friendships and that you've made along the way. But I guess if I had to pick one in particular that stands out, we were the underdogs and we beat Melrose. They had a 50-plus game winning streak. This was in basketball. And what was kind of unique about that is, no one really expected us to win. We came out with the win, and it kind of lit a fire in me, I think, for the rest of my career to be like, I want to be a part of these big wins. It was just a regular season game, but the community was so excited for us. We had a big party after. It was one of those things that you really felt the sense of pride that people had around us winning. The things I think that I reflect back on are the friendships, but you run into a teammate and it's like you haven't missed a beat, right? You guys are back talking about something back then or just, catching up. So the friendships are super unique. And then I think the lessons learned, those lessons are things that have helped me in my professional career, my personal family life, just things that I think if you weren't a part of teams, you wouldn't really experience, and be able to learn from. I guess kind of every coach I've ever had played a huge part, so I'd like to thank all the coaches. Basketball being my main sport, Coach Cantillan was a huge part of, my career at Woburn High. So I definitely appreciate that and him kind of giving me the confidence that I could play at the collegiate level. Most importantly, my parents and my family. There's certain milestones, that I hit at the time. I guess you do realize, okay, things are going well. I think the true, lessons learned and impact that sports have, I didn't realize until I was fully out of it. And now looking back, it's something that you realize the impact and how important all those coaches and teammates were in kind of really everything in your life.
Stopping 51 of 56 shots versus Boston College. Tom's performance that night is still widely considered among the best in Beanpot history. That year, Tom was awarded the Everly Award, given annually to the goalie with the best save percentage. Tom, we are proud to welcome you into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
Do you remember if there was a moment or a game that still stands out for you?
I would say probably the game in the Boston Garden. Even though we came off on the losing side, that was always the goal. So it was always the goal to make it there. The only way we could get there is playing in the semifinal against Chelmsford. Actually, one of my teammates, Chris Jua, scored a hat trick in that game to win 3-2, and he scored one late to get us there. But then to play with all those guys in the Garden, I would say is one of the most memorable things. How many people came in, the support we got from Woburn coming in, going out and working hard. We're a hard-working town. So I think that has a lot to do with Tanner Pride. How you represent yourself on the ice, I think we always did that well, both on and off. We were led by, again, Jimmy Duran, so nobody represented himself better than him as our captain. And I think that went right down through our team. I think our team led ourselves very well, hard-working team. Always had successful teams and the best of times, and some of my best friends, including Jimmy and Chris Jewar and Jeff Lyons and a lot of the players on the team. But some of the coaches, even going back, there was a gentleman named Bill Collins, who's also a goalie, who I played for very young, and then Mike Bonish, and then certainly Frank Newark. And Frank was almost like a second dad for me. So when I was stepping out of line, Frank was putting me back in line. So very grateful to him, both on and off the ice. I played in a lot of different places. I don't think I ever thought about something like this.
Yeah.
I will say, you know, part of the story is that I really developed within hockey with my dad, and that's a story within itself. Me and my dad at a very young age, I come from a single parent family, so we kind of devised a plan as to how maybe I could get to the school level. When I got this call, I said to my dad, I have always wanted to thank him publicly. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I wanted to thank my son. My son is a huge part of my life. I want him to see some of the things that if he keeps doing the things he's doing, that things can work out for him. And my family and my wife, I'm going to appreciate them having them here on this huge honor to me for making it into this, but that they're part of it. It'll be an exciting night for me. Yeah.
Vanessa Melanson was a three-sport athlete at Woburn High, an outstanding player in the Thayer basketball, soccer, and softball teams. In basketball, she was named Boston Herald All-Scholastic, a Middlesex League All-Star, and is the second highest scorer in the state. Her career total, 1,392 points, is just 13 shy of the Tanner record. In soccer, she was a Middlesex League All-Star. In softball, her talent at third base was recognized in tournament play. She was a player her coaches and teammates could depend on. Vanessa never missed a game or practice in her Tanner career. In 2001, she was named Woburn High's Female Athlete of the Year. Vanessa, congratulations on your induction into Woburn High.
What did you enjoy most about being involved in Woburn sports?
I enjoyed the competitiveness. I enjoyed winning, of course, was my favorite. I got to play 2 years with my sister Lee, so that was really fun because we used to grow up and play together, and just to be able to play with her in high school, with family watching and everything, that was fun. I enjoyed the team camaraderie, just the competitiveness and the hard work, and we had a lot of fun.
Yep.
I hit a buzzer beater in Winchester, and I just feel like there was no better feeling. Not many people can say they've hit a buzzer beater, so that's a game I'll never forget. We had a good team in soccer, so we had a lot of games we won in soccer. I don't think we ever made it all the way, but we did win a lot of games, and I really enjoyed playing soccer. I was goal scorer, so that was fun, always to score the goals, and yeah, so I enjoyed soccer as well.
What does Tanner pride mean to you?
To me, it means just being able to be proud to play for Woburn, the town I grew up in, all the games we won and all the achievements, just being able to represent Woburn, represent my family, and just represent the people of Woburn it just made me proud and happy to be able to do that.
Did you realize what you were achieving at the time?
Well, kind of. My papa told me all the time. He had so many stats and newspaper clippings, and once, at the time probably, once I graduated, not sure how much I thought about it, but my papa would tell me all the time.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you'd like to acknowledge or thank?
My coaches, my teammates, we did a lot of hard work, a lot of fun. Bill Quintillion, he was my basketball coach, and that was my big sport, so give a big thanks to him. He was tough, but he made it work, and it was good, and we had fun, and we had a good relationship. I'd like to thank the committee for selecting me for this wonderful recognition. I'd like to thank my family, my mom and my dad, my siblings, Lee, Mike, Mark, and especially my my biggest fans are my Grammy, and especially my papa who passed away this past year, but he was the one who nominated me, so a big thank you to him.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel so lucky and special to have all that support to be able to achieve this accomplishment.
As a freshman, he was the only Woburn player to qualify for the 1997 Massachusetts State Individual Tournament. Boston Globe and Boston Herald All-Scholastic in 99 and 2000. 1999 Boston Globe Division II Player of the Year. 1999 Middlesex League Co-MVP. 2000 Middlesex League MVP. 2000 Middlesex League All-Star Tournament co-winner. Michael won the State Schoolboy Individual Championship as a junior and captured numerous New England PGA junior titles, as well as the prestigious Massachusetts CYO junior title. Michael, congratulations on your induction into the Woburn Hall.
Golf was very unique in Woburn, given that, we had a big group of us starting, I would say, in middle school, that our parents would literally drop us off at the golf course, and there was no exaggeration, 20 to 25 kids that would be dropped off every day in the summer. And we would be there from, sunrise to sunset. And that alone just led to, we knew we were going to have a good golf team in high school, given the amount of golf that our group of friends played. The 1999 state tournament. So we were there as a team. We were probably, I would say, favored to win as a team. But, myself and my teammate, Mike O'Brien, I would say we were probably the two best golfers on the team as well. So it was really an exciting experience, because not only did the team win the state championship that year, but Mike O'Brien and myself, we tied for low medalist honors. And I actually ended up beating him in a playoff on the first hole. So not only did the team win, Mike and I came in first and second. So it was really great. I think it was the first time that the golf team won the state championship. And then the first time a individual from Woburn won the state championship as well. But, I still run into a bunch of folks that I play golf against in high school that played for other teams. And, I still play competitively once in a while. And when I see these, this is 20 plus years later from when this happened, but I still talk to these people and they still talk about how dominant the Woburn High golf team used to be back in the late 2000s and late 1990s and early 2000s, which is really cool that they still remember that. And that they'll make comments even like, we used to fear playing you guys because we knew we were going to get killed. And the team success continued after I left school as well. So looking back on it, it's pretty neat to see what we accomplished. I think the first people I have to thank is my parents. Without them, I have 3 kids now and I'm driving 2 of them around to sports all the time. So just knowing what they sacrifice for us to drive us around to all these golf tournaments. But also Coach Bob Duran, he was a legend at Woburn High for the golf team. Just a phenomenal golf coach, phenomenal person. Everyone enjoyed playing for him. He treated everybody fairly and he knew the game of golf really well. He was definitely a special coach and we were very lucky to have him.
Captain his senior year, Mike had 1,878 rushing yards, 22 touchdowns, and a single game rushing record of 278 yards. His 142 points made him second in Easton, Mass, and he boasted 4 200-yard rushing games. Mike's 2,245 career rushing yards was a school record. In 1992, Mike was Boston Globe All-Scholastic, Middlesex League All-Star, and winner of both the Knowlton Award and the Shamrock Award. His senior year, he was Boston Globe All-Scholastic, Globe Super Team, Boston Herald All-Scholastic, Middlesex League Player of the Year, and winner, again, of the Knowlton and Shamrock Awards. In 1993, he played in the Shriners All-Star Game. Michael Wall, congratulations on your induction into the league.
The Woburn-Winchester tradition, rivalry of that Thanksgiving game. I mean, that's probably the pinnacle for me. That memory and being able to get on the field and play in that game was pretty special. The anticipation of going up there and playing was also to play for Rocky Nelson. I mean, Rocky is just a special guy, and being able to finally get up there and play and be coached by Rocky, his passion, his just love for the game, it was special. And those memories of being in the locker room and those pregame speeches that you hear a lot about, they were real, and they were a lot of fun. Tanner Pride, a lot of things come to mind. Probably the biggest is, or one of the things that jumps out at me, is the black and orange, right? It's Woburn, it's the uniforms, all that stuff going on. But on a deeper level, I think that Tanner Pride stands for something more than yourself. It was about team. It was about community. It was about respecting the guys that came, the people that came before you, and holding up that tradition, and trying to leave whatever you touched in a better place. There's a lot of people I need to thank, and first and foremost, my mom and dad. They were always there for me, always supported me. My teammates, I was fortunate to play with a lot of great teammates, and certainly any athlete will tell you can't do it alone. So I don't want to start rattling off names because I'll leave somebody out. Then you have coaches. Again, so many coaches from the time, I think I started playing City League football over at Leland Park. I want to thank all those guys, the teachers, tons of teachers, mentors, and just the community in general. The fans, they always showed up. They always supported us. And this honor now is just kind of icing on the cake. I honestly didn't even know there was a Hall of Fame, so this is great. I want to thank the Woburn Community Education Foundation, putting these events on. Conducting this type of process isn't easy. So it's great that they take this on and honor these athletes. Thank everyone. I was super fortunate. So I got a great family, great friends, and it couldn't have worked out better.
For their work and production assistance on this evening's videos. now induct 2 coaches into the Woburn Hall of Fame. Nominated by members of the community, they met the criteria for induction, having promoted integrity, sportsmanship, and sound educational values in their student athletes. They led their teams to success and instilled Tanner pride in their players and in their communities. The first coach to be inducted tonight to the Woburn Hall of Fame is Dr. Paula Mullen. Paula was an unforgettable coach and mentor to many female athletes. A physical education teacher, she coached girls basketball and field hockey, leading these teams to multiple state championships. She was 1975 Massachusetts Coach of the Year. Her coaching style fostered camaraderie and unity among her team members, and her effective leadership helped the players excel on and off the field. Dr. Paula Mullen was one of the most beloved coaches in Woburn High history. Her family, as well as several of the athletes she coached, are here this evening as we celebrate the induction of Paula Mullen into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
What is it about Paula that made her a good coach?
Well, I'll speak to her qualities, which were enthusiasm, support, very clear and concise so you knew where you stood, and also her patience.
My answer would be everything. Everything you can think of a good coach, Paula was.
We became a family, which means a lot. Good memories.
And who knew would be teaching all these years later together?
Yeah.
Crazy. Every practice, every meeting, every game, every bus ride was awesome. And right into basketball season. She coached field hockey and basketball. Yeah, and there's nothing that stood out because she stood out.
I think Tanner pride to her meant pride of the school community and also pride of Woburn. It meant respect.
My sister Paula loved school. She loved, she made her, her not only love going to school, but she made her entire career in school and teaching and coaching and gym teaching, and then going on to being athletic director for the town of Wakefield. And she's also already inducted into the Bentley College Hall of Fame for women's basketball. But I always think she focused on Woburn as the place where she wanted to be and have that Tanner pride label attached to her.
How do you think Paula would feel about this induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame?
Well, I'm going to go out on the limb and say, she'd say it's about time. And her family will giggle at that, because Paula was confident and she knew she was good. And she was good. She was great. And she had that aura about her, that confidence and that passion, and she was right most of the time. And so I think she would say it's about time, because that was how Paula would respond. She was funny like that, not arrogant, but confident.
Yep.
Very, very classy, and I had the most utter respect for her.
She loved her teams, she loved the sports, she loved being a leader, and she thrived on that.
How do you thank someone who has taken you from crayons to perfume? We love you, Paula Mullen.
Sweeney served for 17 years as a baseball coach in the Woburn school system. As a varsity baseball coach, Paul won a Northeast Conference championship and 2 Middlesex League championships. His team won the state Class B championship in 1968. That team went 13-1 in the Northeastern Conference and 19-4 overall. His last team in 1970 won the Middlesex League championship and made it to the Class A state finals. Paul is a master at motivating young people to do their best and developing them to reach their peak in either the classroom or on the playing field. trying to play their best for them. Paul's family and several members of his championship teams are here with us this evening as we induct Paul Doc Sweeney into the Woburn Hall of Fame.
What is it about Paul that made him a good coach?
He was always very prepared and made sure that we were as prepared as possible. He was just very strong on the fundamentals of baseball and teaching the finer points. And as being a teacher, and a great teacher that he was really almost as much of a teacher as a coach when it came to baseball. He just, wanted to make sure that we played the game the right way.
He stressed the fundamentals. He was a student of the game. I think he looked at it sometimes as almost like a chess match with strategy and trying to project 2-3 moves ahead.
He loved the kids. He was very, he had them focus on everything. And I think the thing that frustrated him the most, and it came out in a comical way sometimes, is if the umps blew it. Because he felt like his players had done everything right and somebody else was taking something away from them. So he was really well known for how we went after the umps.
I would say attention to detail. Play the game the way it's supposed to be played. When he argued with the umpire, he was like Billy Martin in his face, right there. So
he spent his entire career, went to high school at Woburn High School, taught at Woburn High School, coached at Woburn High School, administrator at Woburn High School. I think he epitomized Tanner Pride.
From a sports standpoint, it just meant playing the right way, playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, sportsmanship, but just going all out and just doing the best you possibly can do. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think the '68 season was the pinnacle. That was quite a run where they won the championship. That was a great team, great group of guys. Our entire family was engaged in it. We were the bat boys and chasing foul balls and that type of thing. So it was that was a magical year.
He, got promoted to be assistant principal, and struggled with it. As kids, we all didn't want him to do it because it meant he couldn't coach anymore.
Oh,
and he was at his best when he was teaching and coaching, and he was a good administrator too. But it was a tough decision. We had kids come up to us in elementary school saying, "Can't wait to go to high school and play for Doc."
Wow, yeah, that's great. And then a couple of years later, after that, he was the assistant principal in charge of discipline at the high school. So
that wasn't as fun.
Yeah, no, that wasn't.
That was devastating to us as kids. We certainly understood.
We'd rather have him stay being the coach for sure.
Best time of our childhood. Got a half gallon of ice cream every time they won.
Vin Ravella was my dad's assistant coach. He was a tremendous coach. I think he and my dad were a great pair. He was also a great friend to my dad. So I think, Vinny is part of this, to be honest with you, part of this induction for my dad. I mean, Vinny was right there with him every step of the way.
Yeah, so, 100%, yeah.
There are two teams being inducted this evening into the Woburn Hall of Fame. Both are championship teams whose success truly engaged and brought great excitement to the entire Woburn community. The 2002 Woburn High Golf Team were the undefeated Middlesex League champions and Division II Mass State champions. That year, the state title was rightfully Woburn's, but not easily won. The title was first awarded to Westboro, but after that team's coach reported a scorecard error, the title was awarded to the true champs, the Thayer Golf Team, with a team total score of 331. The 2002 golf team was coached by legendary Woburn Hall of Fame coach, inductee Bob Durant. Congratulations to the 2002 Woburn High Golf Team, inductees into the Woburn High Hall of Fame.
I grew up playing golf, worked at the golf course. I liked playing with a lot of kids that I grew up with from a young age, into the tournament system. And then once we reached high school, we turned into match play, which was a little different golf than stroke play. So it was, you know, you played one-on-one against that party, and it was, it kind of had like a championship feel every match you played. So it was nice to see the kids develop, growing up together. We played a lot of golf, probably for 12 to 15 years together. So it was a lot of fun. So the year we won, 2002, I believe we lost by 1 point we played at Sterling Country Club. A lot of guys played well. We lost by 1 point. So we came all the way home thinking we were in second place, and then we got a call by Coach Durand, who said the other coach was going over the scorecards, noticed one of his players mismarked a scorecard, and we ended up winning by 1 stroke due to the penalty he took on the 18th hole. Yeah, so it was good. That one stuck out, out of my 4 years at Woburn High playing. Tanner Pride means a lot. I work here in the city, for the city still. I have a business here in the city. I'm raising my family here. It's a lot. I grew up playing all different sports, and then once I got to the high school level, I played golf and tennis. It just means almost giving back to the community and being involved with sports. I currently coach, a couple sports as well for the younger kids. My son's 8. So I like to give back to the Tanner. We coach hockey, so it's just to give back on what I grew up with, and a lot of coaches that helped me along the way. It's try to help out when I can. So
yeah, it's great.
We did. We had a good team all 4 of my years. We were right there. My 4 years, we won 3 state championships. We had a great team from my freshman year and sophomore year, and then junior year we missed by a couple strokes in the stroke play, and then my senior year we won again the state championships. And again, we watched all these guys develop from a young age to we played together for years. So it was a lot had to do with the pro in Woburn, Paul Parajakis. He helped us. It was a great junior program. So we knew everybody. He always gave back to us. Coach Bob Duran I played for him for 4 years, and he also reached out at a young age, like, keep it up. We have a really good program. There was a group of us that lived at the golf course for about 4 years. We played about 36 holes a day almost, and I would say he had a lot. Another pro, Paul Bachhaus, right after Paul Parajakis. They had a great junior program, and they had a lot of, I believe they're being helpful. They gave a lot to the junior program and just before high school, and it was great for the kids to develop. This golf team, we had a lot of good players. It was hard because if you lost a match, you had to. There was alternates who would then try to play you for your spot on the team. We had eight spots on the team, and if you lost one of your matches, you had a line of guys that you would have to play to try to keep that spot for the team.
So pretty competitive.
It was competitive.
Yeah.
It was, and if you didn't shoot a 35 or 36 on 9 holes, you were losing your spot because it was that, our depth for that year of this group of guys for 02 shows a lot about the development of them growing up, the junior program we had. It was a great group of kids. You definitely miss those days. It was some of the highlights. I didn't go on to college. I had a business here in town, so definitely it was one of my prouder moments was the 3 state championships for the school and the town, the city.
The 2007-2008 boys indoor track team were Middlesex League champions, Division II state champions, and hold the only all-state title in team history, with the second highest point score than an all-state game. The team and its individual members earned All-American honors and were national 4x400 relay champions, New England champions in the 4x200 relay, and team champions in the pentathlon. The team excelled under the leadership of coaches Joe Curran and Woburn Hall of Fame inductee Bill O'Connor. With the team and individual championships, records, and honors too numerous to list, we are proud to induct the extremely talented and deserving 2007-2008 boys indoor track team into the Woburn Hall.
What did you guys enjoy most about being involved in Woburn sports?
In school, you build these relationships. When you go onto a sports field, you know, it's a different type of, you know, competitiveness, playing for your teammates and things like that, and just kind of, you know, the ups and downs, and kind of doing it all with people you're closest with, your friends.
You know, we all grew up playing sports together, and I think when you grow up and go through all the pain and challenges and kind of growth issues together, you know, that's a big win. I think for Woburn sports, it was always team first.
I'm originally from Morocco, and I moved here in high school, and I met, so many great people in Woburn, and they helped me greatly for where I am right now. Mike's parents, they took me like their son, which is just a perfect example. My guidance counselor still, she was my baby shower 2 weeks ago. Mrs. Griffith, same thing, one of my favorite teachers. So I'm still connected to those people, but I think the people is the big thing.
Definitely the people. Yeah, I mean, I think Riyadh hit the nail on the head. You know, I think back to my days, you know, both on the soccer team and running track. You know, obviously built a lot of great relationships and got some lifelong friends out of it that, you know, we're still really close with today. Just being able to go through all the highs and lows of, you know, being a high school athlete was, you know, with a really close knit group of people was a lot of fun.
Wow. Tanner Pride for me is, you know, it's somewhat ironic. So today I live in Winchester, so my mother said specifically, "Are you sure you can answer that question?" But Tanner Pride to me obviously was something that was a big part of growing up. It was being proud of the community and the history and background of Woburn as you compete really for the team on the front of your jersey opposed to the back.
And even so too, it's like, you know, a lot of us might have had different friend groups outside of school and things like that, but it's like, you know, when you came together on the soccer field, none of that mattered, that type of thing. So it was cool to kind of grow up in that type of environment, and, you know, Tanner Pride.
Tanner Pride, probably, I don't know. I mean, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is, you know, I think back to just that feeling of, you know, being able to compete with kind of, you know, all my buddies back in high school, you know, and, you know, obviously being able to perform at a high level. Like, that's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind.
We were a tight group. We played soccer, we went to indoor, and we went to outdoor. We were together all year long. We did spring soccer, we played summer soccer, we hanged out after school. So we really were a tight group. I think that helped a lot too, just being around, pushing each other. That helped a lot.
But I think the one I'd probably focus on would be the national championship meet. I think just like, you know, being able to run on that big of a stage, obviously with, you know, a group that was just so close, so close knit, was you know, obviously a memory that sticks out in my mind.
Nationals, that was a big one. I think when we went to the meet, we were not expected to win that meet. It was a little bit of a surprise. I mean, Coach O'Connor was surprised as well after we called him after the meet.
You know, going on the national stage itself was kind of, you know, a big deal, just to kind of be there, and for it to, you know, go the way that it did and end up being, you know, national champions in the way that it happened with, you know, a .01, you know, second victory. That's just something that I still like, kind of remember the anticipation of, like, it happened, and, you know, we didn't know what to do, so all you can do is kind of just stare at the board until the times come up, and then, you know, to see Woburn on top was just, you know, a surreal feeling, and kind of still to this day I kind of am like, did that really happen? Like, I kind of got to look back and be like, oh, okay, it says our name still. All right, cool. But yeah, it was, yeah.
We were at the point where we were always in the final race of the meet, so you had all the eyes, you know, watching that team. And time after time that year, we won. We continued to have success. Every single meet we were winning. Every broader kind of statewide meet we were winning. It was really a question of, is this ever going to end? and it didn't, all the way to the national championship. Right. So it was one of those runs where you didn't want it to stop.
Mm-hmm. It was a good time. Absolutely great time. Great memories too. We made great memories.
evening's inductees into the Woburn Hall of Fame. Your induction into the Woburn Hall of Fame was due to your talent, leadership, integrity, and your community spirit. You are now part of a new tradition of Tanner Pride, of early inductees, in what we hope will be a program that continues to honor this legacy for generations to come. Moving forward, the Woburn Hall of Fame will seek nominations for the next class of inductees every other year, and will host a biannual induction event to continue the celebration of Tanner Pride. Therefore, the next installation of inductees into the Woburn Hall of Fame will take place in 2026, with a call for nominations to be announced in 2025. We hope you have considered joining the effort to sustain Woburn's newest institution, and we will be in touch as work begins on the 4th annual Woburn Hall of Fame event. We just ask if all the inductees from this evening can come up to the front stage for one more